many times Peyton Manning played a game without his number one and number two wide receiver?
Yeah, wasn't it like 6
Zero.
games? Or yeah.
No, it was like zero for Manning. And for Brady, it was like 4. And for Drew Brees, it was like 1. And for Patrick Mahomes, it's 12.
Yeah, without his top
You know,
two.
without his top two. And that's it. But to me, it's like, there's his greatness. There is his greatness. And if we just give him something to work with, we can have 5, 6, 7, 8 more great years.
Welcome to the Heartland Huddle. My name's Eric. That's my co-host, Xavier. Welcome back with us on the Heartland Huddle, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk. We have a very special guest today. He not only doubles as a friend of the show, but he doubles also as my grandpa. He's a man who's watched and listened to more football than I think Xavier and I have combined. Welcome to the show, Tim. How are you?
Well, thank you. Glad to be here. Excited to do this.
Good. Yeah, so let's dive right into it. Before we do that, always, if you've been with us since the beginning, hit that subscribe button. You can catch us every Wednesday here on our YouTube channel and on Spotify as well. But let's get into it. This is called the Heartland Huddle Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk, and that's where I want to start is with the Detroit Lions. Xavier, the Lions moved to 3-1. Pretty easy victory, it looked like, over Cleveland. Initial thoughts on that?
I wouldn't say that it was easy. It was pretty tough. They had several 3-and-outs, but the good thing about Detroit Lions offense is they figure it out in the heart of the game or during each drive. They eventually figure it out, and I think Jared Goff deserves a lot of credit. You know, stay loose, was moving his feet. He was running away from Garrett a lot. He didn't have a choice because he was just getting the best of that offensive line. But I wouldn't call it an easy win, but it was a good win. You know what I'm saying? Against the AFC. AFC has always been tough for the NFC North or Detroit in general. So good win, good punt return for a touchdown with Khalif Raymond. Amon-Ra St. Brown, couple of touchdowns. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. Tim, your initial thoughts on the Lions? They looked pretty crisp last Monday night against that Ravens team, and they continue that momentum into Cleveland this week. What'd you think?
I was actually heading into the game. I was a little worried. The Cleveland run defense had been showing something. And I was wondering just what was going to happen when Detroit went in there. So it was nice to see that Detroit actually showed it against a run defense that was pretty top notch. You know, they've held some couple running backs to some pretty low total. And but I do want to say, Xavier, I'm so excited for Jared Goff. I was a fan when he came out of college. Good person, and I'm so happy to see him doing well out there.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, he doesn't get a whole lot of credit, but you're starting to notice now in national media where people they're admitting that they should start talking about him a lot more because he's been winning a lot. You know, he had one bad year with Detroit, which was the first year they were in rebuild year. They had to get rid of everybody that was with the regime beforehand. And so when they built the team and ever since then, he's been winning. He's been top notch. So I agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tim, to your point, just a little color behind that as well, too. Overall, Detroit with 29 attempts today for 109 yards for a 3.8 average and a touchdown. The lion's share, no pun intended there, the lion's share of the carries coming to Jahmyr Gibbs at 15 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown as well. So to your point, Tim, absolutely. I think for a team that has the identity, the physicality, and the bite in the kneecaps, and we've all heard the quotes from Dan Campbell, and we've been talking about it for 3 or 4 years now, Detroit's identity and what they want to do. They're not going to lie to you. They're not going to try to pull the wool over their eyes. It doesn't matter who it is. They're going to come in and try to run that football, and to the tune of 100-plus yards and a touchdown, I'd say, of course, that the Lions were successful today. And overall,
Yeah.
it was dicey there, right? For a second, what was it? Middle of the third quarter, I believe. Flacco and the Browns, they're driving. They have an opportunity to tie the game up there. And, of course, Detroit's defense stands tall, and then you get the response with the big Khalif Raymond kick return, or punt return, excuse me, to kind of put the game out of reach.
Yeah, but you could also count on Joe Flacco to destroy his own team with 2 interceptions. You know what I mean? And one of them, the first one is like he just heaved the ball up, wasn't looking for
Yeah.
anybody and nothing. It's just like, bro, you just gonna give the game away. So when we were talking off camera, the losses are not justified with how long he's been in the league. If you agree with me, Tim. And I was telling Eric off camera that, hey, even if you're starting rookies, at least the losses are justified and you can see what you have in the rookies, opposed to a guy been there 18 years and he averages 2 or 3 interceptions a game and he's just going to lose you the games. So why not roll with the rookies? Who cares if they was 3rd round, 5th round, 2nd, whatever round you picked them, opposed to having Joe Flacco and you're losing games. You know what I mean? At least the losses would be a lot more justified with having rookie 3rd round picks or 5th round picks. So,
Well, maybe they'll
what
go
say
home
you?
tonight. Giants game. What happened? You put a rookie in, and guess what? They win a
You
game.
win. Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So maybe Cleveland ought to pay attention to what just went on right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
are
agree.
you okay? So let me get. So that's a great lead in too, Xavier. But let me give you my stance too, Tim, because my thing is we also saw conversely what happened to Joe Flacco his rookie year with no offensive line. He dislocated his hip because he got beat up and he has no offensive line and he has no weapon. So if you're viewing my take is if you're viewing Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel as the potential future franchise quarterback of your franchise, why throw him out there and take all the lumps? Let Joe Flacco's 41-year-old rear end continue to take all the heat, unless you believe in your defense that much and you truly think, hey, with a Jerry Jeudy, with who's the other wide receiver? Cedric Tillman, excuse me. Yeah, Cedric Tillman, Jeudy, a bad offensive line, and Shedeur Sanders can go out there and win you games and get to an AFC championship game. Let him sit for a year. Let him learn, and then, of course, throw him in there next year is my...
Well, listen, his dad, prime time, Deion Sanders, said himself, he's never learned anything sitting on the bench.
That's prime time.
Who learns anything not getting the experience? So you sit him on the bench to learn what? To only come out there his 2nd year and still learn as he plays? If you're going to learn as you play, let's get it out of the way now. That's just my opinion, So,
well, I'm going to agree with that.
But I get what you're
because
saying.
you're talking about Cleveland. So who's to say that they're going to fix their offensive line next year? Okay. They, really, when you think about it, they held Detroit to what, 109 yards?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is running backs who gained what, 230 last week, right?
Yeah.
So their defense, I feel like, is actually pretty legit.
It was number one defense last year, by the way.
Weapons.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead. Number one defense
They got a
last
few
year.
weapons.
Yep, go ahead.
They got a few weapons, and I'm going to agree, at this point, get those rookies out there, find out what you got, and go for it.
I mean, right, because if you're going to take losses, I'd rather take them with the rookies, not with a guy that's been in the league his whole life, literally been in the NFL half his life. Why would I take risks and losing games with that? I'd rather lose with a rookie than to lose with an 18-year vet. That just doesn't make sense to me. And Cleveland has always had a headache with quarterbacks because they haven't had one. When did you say, Eric? Since the 80s?
Yeah.
Like, come on
Bernie
now.
Kosar,
you might as well.
That's where you would come in, Tim. I think maybe Bernie Kosar is the last time Cleveland's had a franchise quarterback.
That's exactly the name that came to mind was the last one that I can remember is Bernie Kosar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, but also I think you have to look at, okay, so you've got a defense, you've got something to build on, and they're out losing with an old quarterback. Where's the motivation? Where's the excitement? You bring, and I think you saw that in New York today.
They rallied behind
So
a rookie.
they did, they did.
Mm-hmm.
The whole team excitement level went up, and everybody just upped it just a
Yeah.
little bit. And and it was a great team to up it against. I have no issues with that. Give San Diego that first loss. Pretty cool there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
They definitely beat a good team.
if you're going to invest the money and you're going to get those rookie quarterbacks, and plus, don't you want to know which one's going to be it going forward? You don't want to wait till
Yeah.
next spring training and have the same issue. Too many quarterbacks and don't know what's going on. Figure it
Yeah.
out now.
Well, and
If you're gonna take losses, you might as well figure it out now. I'd rather lose
Yeah.
figuring it out than, like you say, lose out the rest of the season. You still get a top pick, but you're not gonna pick a quarterback because you still got four quarterbacks sitting in the quarterback room. So
well,
it just
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. So
well,
go ahead, Eric.
no, I mean, I can't disagree with all the points you guys make. I just think with that top pick, you are going to take a quarterback. You took a third and a fifth rounder this past year. You can always cut Shador and Dylan Gabriel, and you can get a first rounder next year and a Cade Klubnik and some guys like that out of the draft. Go ahead.
So you're saying out of the last, let's say, 8 years, you pick over 5 or 6 quarterbacks? Just keep picking quarterbacks? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Because it was Johnny Manziel, then it was Baker Mayfield.
which they should. Which
Then
how bad was that getting rid of Baker Mayfield? Gosh, Cleveland looks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then you get Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders, Joe Flacco. So you just keep going on quarterbacks? Just keep going, huh?
Well,
Just
I think you have to.
never ending cycle.
I think the Chiefs had to until they landed on theirs. So, I mean, I don't know. But to your guys' point, fair. To your guys' point, though, zooming out, looking at it from a holistic standpoint, to support your guys' point, really, you also have to look at the division. Tim and I are going to get into the Chiefs here in a bit. We're going to get into their completely decimated and depleted defense. It looks like what Detroit's did towards the end of last year in the playoffs. But when you're looking at that AFC North, obviously, you've got the Steelers moved to 3-1 with the big win. And where did they play? It wasn't Germany. It was
Ireland?
Ireland. Yeah, it was Dublin.
Ireland.
Yeah, they
Yep.
get the big win in Ireland.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cincinnati plays on Monday night, and we don't expect them to do much without Joe Burrow. And then Baltimore's at 1-3. Seemingly, they've lost their defense. Lamar Jackson's got a hamstring. It looks like one of those times to where if you did throw in a Shador Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, heck, just because of the volatility of the rest of that AFC North division, you could creep up and maybe get 8 or 9 wins and sneak into that wild card picture division type of picture as well. So who would have thought?
Mhm.
Who would have thought maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers and maybe a Cleveland team with a rookie quarterback would be the two teams battling it out for the AFC North? That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But to the Lions, to that point, the Lions improved to 3-1. One of the things we've talked about on here a lot, Tim, is the Lions the last few years, they've been able to beat up on the bad teams, right? Now, Cleveland, yes, is a great defense, but their offense is inept. Do you see this trend change? Because we see them lose against the Packers team game 1. We've seen them play good teams in the playoffs and lose. Do you think this is just another form of Detroit beat up on a bad team, but then on a good teams they're going to struggle?
No, I don't. I think age, having been together for a while, understanding winning, understanding a winning philosophy. This builds. It's a building block thing, and I believe Detroit has built enough blocks and got enough stuff in place that no, I don't feel that way. I think they're legit. They're going to give you. I'm not going to say that they're not going to get beat, but if they do, it's not going to be because they did not play well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be because they mentally weren't ready or any of those excuses. It's going to be because a better team beat them. Okay. But no,
Yeah.
I think they're there. They've got the maturity. They You can't say that they're a rookie loaded team anymore. I mean, they got young players, but there's a big difference between a rookie all big eyed trying to figure this stuff out and a person, a player that's already went through that. They're there, they're
Yeah,
ready. I believe in Dan Campbell,
yeah,
and I think that they're a legit Super Bowl contender myself.
Okay.
I agree 100%. Despite we lost both starting corners today, Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed, and for a while I thought we lost Kirby Joseph, but looked like he came back and finished the game. So,
Oh,
but
I didn't
I
know
did
that
see that.
that
yep,
game wasn't on where I
yep.
could watch
DJ,
it.
yeah, DJ Reed, he got carted off of his hamstring. He couldn't even walk on it. It was that bad. So he may be out for a while. And I didn't hear what the injury was with Terrion Arnold, but he didn't finish the game. So maybe he'll be back next week. Maybe not. I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where the work of Brad Holmes, the Lions GM, comes into play. I think you're going to see a lot of shuffling to make sure that the Lions do have the proper depth, especially on the defensive
Mm-hmm.
side of the ball, so we don't have a repeat of
Mm-hmm.
last year and going into the
Yeah.
playoffs less than healthy. So, but no, the Lions improved to 3-1. Still, of course, love them in that NFC North division. The Packers, of course, playing as we speak here against the lowly Cowboys. We expect them to win that football game. So, yeah, overall, the Lions improved to 3-1. They still look, to Tim's point, like a Super Bowl contender. But not only
Mm-hmm.
that, they might be a favorite after watching, the Eagles almost give up another one to the Buccaneers, things of that nature. So we might have a favorite in Detroit in that NFC North division in that conference as well. But X, I know you need to jump. You can do that if you'd like. Any last thoughts on your Lions?
I would just say good job with the Chiefs. I watched that game. They battled it out. Patrick Mahomes he's going to continuously show that he's the best quarterback in this day and age. And of course, to me, over the last 10 years, he's the best and probably will be the best for another 5 or 6 years. But hell of a win. They fought Baltimore really, really hard. And ultimately, once they were up by 2 scores, it was a wrap. I knew Baltimore, they just couldn't do anything with the Chiefs, man. So the Chiefs ended up breaking wide and took off and won that game the way they should. So just want to say that. Go Chiefs, go Lions. Tim, it
Absolutely.
was nice to see you and nice to talk to you, man.
Nice to see you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, Heartland Huddle. Peace.
See you.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Yeah, so once again, nice segue into the second half of our episode here. This is the Heartland Huddle podcast, Chiefs, Lions, and NFL Talk. I'm Eric. This is my grandpa, Tim, joining us as a special guest of the show to give his takes and insights. You can catch us every Wednesday with new episodes here on our YouTube channel at Heartland NFL Talk, along with our Spotify as well. Tim, let's turn our attention to the Chiefs.
There we go.
Initial thoughts, I felt that it was a collective Chiefs kingdom, just release of 3 years of scoring less than 40 points in a game, right? Initial thoughts, what'd you see, what'd you like? Go ahead.
The first thing is there was a relief, but for me, the relief was they should have done that today. You're talking
Sure.
about going up against the 30th ranked defense in the NFL that was down 4 starters at the start of the game on their defense, who lost 2 more by the start of the second quarter. So they're down
Yeah.
they're down 6 starting players on their defense. You better do what you did,
Yeah.
okay? So my relief was that they did do it. And I was glad to see that because they should have. Okay. I think I would have been very disappointed if it would have been ended up being an 18-10 game or something, so you should have been able to do what you did. And they also lost the first quarter, their starting left tackle went out on
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And we always have on our side when you play Baltimore. For some reason, Harbaugh, has he ever ran Derrick Henry more than 5 times in a game against us? I
Yeah,
mean, literally, I
yeah,
do not understand him.
yeah,
For this is the 6th game, I mean, I love it. Okay, please, next time we play you, give Derrick 5 carries and take him out. Okay, won't break my heart, you know.
yeah.
But it was good for the community and it was good for the Chiefs to get a win today. And
Yeah.
you couple that with San Diego losing, you know,
Los Angeles Charger, Los Angeles. You say
Chargers.
just for
Yeah,
the subscriber. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. The Chargers.
that's
Yeah,
that old
and
man in me.
yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right, and I noticed that as well. Playing the Giants, and what's nice about that for people who don't know, if and I could be wrong on this. I know I'm going to be close, but I could be wrong. Tiebreakers and things like that, we all know. If we split with the Los Angeles Chargers and we each end up, let's say, with a 5-1 division record, right? And then we also end up with the same actual overall record in total. I think it comes down to after the head to head, I think it comes down to intra division or common opponents as well. And obviously the Giants would
I
be
think
one of
so
those
too.
would be one of those common
Yeah.
opponents. So if everything was a wash by the end of this year, I think the Chiefs win that because, of course, we would have the head-to-head over the Giants and the Chargers lost to them. So sneaky little bookkeeping there, but something that could definitely affect that playoff seeding down the road. But overall, Tim, I'm right with you. I'm always one of those that you have to have the right expectations. And the expectation is, hey, teams have been able to move the ball at will on the Ravens, and we needed to do that, especially with, we all know, Xavier Worthy coming back this week. Speaking of Xavier Worthy, what a way to introduce yourself to the season in terms of, had a couple of carries, 2 rushes for 38 yards, and then had 5 catches for 83 yards as well, right? And so and more than just the stat line coming back, Worthy was also just a presence out on the field. You could tell Mahomes was just trying to chuck it deep just to have it on tape, just to give Baltimore another look. That way the intermediate stuff and underneath, Kelsey, Pacheco, Hunt, Juju Smith-Schuster had a big day today, something we haven't seen from him in a while. 4 catches, 36 yards, and the big touchdown as well. So overall, to your point, yes, I think the Chiefs did exactly what they were supposed to do. But let me ask you, Tim, do you think it was just a product of playing a decimated Ravens team? Or do you think this is something the Chiefs can continue now?
I think it was a product of playing the Ravens team. And
Really?
people aren't going to
Okay.
like to hear that, but I do. Um,
Okay.
I feel like Kansas City has really let Pat Mahomes down in the last few years by not getting weapons around him. Okay, I think his greatness has almost hurt him. Um, let's take Jared Goff. Jared Goff goes to Detroit. Great quarterback, but he's not good enough to win it on his own. So what does Detroit do? Oh, let's go out and get running backs. Let's get wide receivers. Let's get stuff around him. Jalen Hurts. Oh, great quarterback. Not good enough to win it on his own. So what did they do? They go out and get AJ Brown and Barkley and get him weapons around him. Where I feel like Kansas City has been spoiled and got this mindset that Patrick Mahomes is this Superman, which he really is, but at some point Superman has a kryptonite, okay? And
Yeah.
I'm just very disappointed that they have not put more weapons around him. And they really, in my opinion, which is what it is their opinion, I don't feel like they've even attempted properly to put weapons around him. I mean, I just happened, I looked up some stuff. So, all the way back to 2019, McCole Hardman draft up until now. I
Yep.
don't know if you know this, Eric, but we have drafted 3 running backs in 7 years. and 2 of them we drafted in the 7th round.
Yep.
Okay, that to me is not showing a strong effort here. Okay, to make that complementary piece around Patrick Mahomes better.
Sure.
Since in the same 7-year period, we've only drafted 6 wide receivers. Okay, in 7 years. So at some point, Brett Veach needs to get Andy Reid out of making decisions on the offense who to draft. My opinion.
Wow.
You look at Mecole Hardman. Let's just take 4 drafts: Mecole Hardman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Sky Moore, and Xavier Worthy. Okay, those 4, right? I'm gonna read you some names. You got those 4 to play with. You could have had DK Metcalf, John Taylor, James Cook, and Ladd McConkey. You could have had McLaurin, Washington, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Terry
However you
McLaurin.
say his last name. DeAndre Swift, White, the running back for Tampa, and
Yes.
Ricky Parcell. You could have had those. And that's not to mention you could have also had Michael Pittman, Romeo Dobbs, G.K. Dobbins, Keon Coleman. These are all players that were there after we drafted.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm sorry, and I know I included Xavier Worthy in there. He could turn out. Physics tells me that I think about this, Eric. In 7th grade, you were the size that Worthy is playing in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were 165 pounds in 8th grade.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have played in the NFL at 165 pounds. I'm sorry, but that's what you were in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I think physics just say he's not going to hold up.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a matter of you can't take 165 and get hit by 200 and the force and think that you're going to have a long career doing that. Not going to happen. Sure. Okay. So, we've got to be willing to put some weapons around Patrick Mahomes. Legit weapons. We took Rashid Rice. Yes, we did. And all the stories that I heard out here in Kansas City was, the only reason we took him is because Patrick Mahomes worked out with him, came back and just said, guys, we got to draft this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't anybody else. It was
firsthand.
Our Hall of Fame quarterback is going, I want this guy.
Yeah.
So, we'll use a 2nd round pick to keep Patrick Mahomes happy. But, we've got to get him some weapons, some legit weapons around him. We're wasting opportunity. I agree with what Xavier said. I've watched a lot of, Eric, I can go back. You're right. I'm 70 years old. I can talk to you about Dan Fouts and I've seen a lot of quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is if he's not he's number 1. He is his competitive, his just the ability to play the quarterback position is absolutely amazing.
Sure.
But he can't do it on his own.
Well,
we've got to get him some stuff. And so for my expectations the rest of the year, I'm concerned. Jaguars actually have, what was it last week? They're 3rd ranked defense.
Yeah, just played a really good game. Just beat the 49ers, I believe. Was it the 49ers today that they played? Yeah, beat a good 49ers team. Yeah.
Yeah. And now I didn't know Detroit had some injury problems, but Detroit's defense, we got them 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
They might be a little banged up, but it's just.
Well,
I guess I'm just a little bit disappointed that we haven't done a better job of bringing players in that can support Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you said a lot
That's
of
my
interesting.
rant and rave.
Yeah, you said a lot of interesting stuff there, Tim. A lot to unpack there, and I was taking a couple of notes just to make sure that, I hit on a few things. Number one, to answer the question, do we think this is a product of the Kansas City Chiefs playing a weakened, incompetent Ravens defense, or is this something that can be sustained for the rest of the year? I'm the exact opposite. I think it's something that can be sustained. I think, first of all, when you look at our previous games, right, we're sitting at 1-2. We all know we played the Chargers really tough. Had some bad breaks there. Of course, we all know less than full strength, played the Eagles really, really tough. We're one bobble in the red zone, Travis Kelce bobble in the red zone away from coming away with that game, and different things like that. So to that point, I think that this is something that can definitely be sustained, especially like you said, when we get Rashee Rice back week 7 after the Detroit game. But the other part of that too, your big point about not having put weapons around Patrick Mahomes. I hear you. You're absolutely right. Those facts on the drafts, the Jonathan Taylors, the DK Metcalfs, guys like that we could have had when we've taken Sky Moores and McCole Hardmans and things like that. My only pushback on that, though, is, Tim, you only looked at the weapons we haven't provided Mahomes on the offensive side of the ball. See, I look holistically. To your point, it is a team sport. So when you look at the Tyreek Hill trade and look at the return we got for Tyreek Hill, that's a poor man's version of that Goff and Matthew Stafford trade you alluded to in Detroit. If you look at Tyreek Hill, we ended up getting Trent McDuffie, a 3-time first team and second team All-Pro. You get Leo Chenal, who manhandled Lamar Jackson here today. You also got George Karlaftis, and you got one of our corners, Watson, who plays big minutes and has helped us win a couple of Super Bowls. And so to your point about offensive weapons, absolutely. But what I will say to that, since 2018 and 2019, we haven't drafted higher than first. And so as much as you want Veach and Andy Reid to, of course, now I know to your point, those guys were available after the guys that we had drafted. I understand that. However, everybody has misses in the drafts, and that 22 draft class, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is one that just went and helped us go to 3 straight Super Bowls. So on the offensive side of the ball, sure. But my argument to you would also be, Patrick Mahomes, you make $50 million a year. It's you and Andy Reid's responsibility to uplift the other guys on the offense and make it work as well. Right. And he has, right. We've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. We've won 2 of those, of course, and different things like that. So I hear you on not providing him quite as much weapons as we'd like, having missed on some draft picks. But on the other end of that, we've supplemented that with hitting on the defensive side, in which that has won us the last few Super Bowls, we've won. So I hear you on that.
I will go with you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. But the thing is, we could have every one of them defensive players, every one of them you just named, we could still have and have these other offensive weapons if we would just had a different philosophy in drafting offensive players. We still would have had every one of those defensive players. Okay?
Yeah.
Also, you're right. Okay, this year, a tip pass here, but in my mind, I go, okay, yes, we went to the Super Bowl last year, and it was the most crazy, unusual year in the history of the NFL for a team to end up with the record it did. Oh, let's just block a field goal to win this game, and let's do this to win this game, and let's do this to win this. Now you have to keep yourself in position, but we did win a lot of games last year with some luck involved.
Sure. But what I'll say to that is heavy is the head that wears the crown. Are the Philadelphia Eagles not doing the same thing this year? They just went on a block field goal last week. They just won on a blocked field goal last week. They almost lost to us. We had a fumble in the red zone, Travis Kelce. They almost gave it against away against the Bucks today, and they've elevated to that championship, know how to win in that. And so, yeah, is there a stroke of luck? Sure, it's the NFL, but the ball's bouncing that way too. And I just think that winning is a skill, you know.
And you have a quarterback's the best winner that's ever, in my mind, that's played in a long, long, long time. His desire and his ability and his willingness to do whatever it takes to win a ball game is just unparalleled. But I'm really nervous that for the rest of the year, we're going to get Rice back and stuff, and that's going to help. But that's not a sound running game we have.
No.
Okay.
You're right.
It's not
I think we end up with somebody before the trade deadline, by the way. I do think Veach makes a move. I think Devin A-Chain. Subscribers, if you haven't checked out our last episode, the reaction to the Giants game last week, check that out. I threw out some names for a running back midseason, like a Devin A-Chain, maybe a Brian Robinson from the
wonderful.
You know, something a Breece Hall, you know, something to that effect, I think would be great.
I'm nervous about defenses know what to do when you don't have a running. They're going to go that too high safety. They've done it to Kansas City for 3 years now, and it's semi-worked pretty good. Okay, so you know you don't have that running game. Too high safety back there to back. You know, so Worthy speed doesn't mean anything. You know,
but you got Rice underneath now. You got Rice underneath now, though. You know.
Yeah, and that could be something that's now. Don't get me wrong. I hope you can have me on the podcast again at the end of the season. I have to eat every word that I just said. Okay.
Yeah,
I really do.
Parade.
But I'm a little nervous about it. We just haven't surrounded him with all pro or good. We haven't surrounded, you know, he hasn't played with one other than Kelce. You know, he's had one all-pro receiver.
Yeah.
You know, in his whole career.
Haven't fun fact, hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver since Tyreek Hill. Yep, that's it, since 2022. So, but
I heard another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I heard another one the other day. My number's going to be off. Your fans can check me, but it's close. How many times Peyton Manning played a game without his number 1 and number 2 wide receiver?
Yeah, wasn't it like
0
6 games? Oh, yeah.
No, it was like 0 for Manning. And for Brady, it was like 4. And for Drew Brees, it was like 1. And for Patrick Mahomes, it's 12.
Yeah, without his top 2.
Without his top 2. And that's, but to me, it's like, there's his greatness. There is his greatness. And if we just give him something to work with, we can have 5, 6, 7, 8 more great years. Yeah. If you give him something. And you don't have to give him a Jamar Chase. You don't have to give him a Jefferson. Okay?
Sure.
But you got to give him some reliable, and you got to give him a running game. That's
I agree.
Legit.
If you look at the last however many Super Bowl winners, and I'm a big, my philosophy is you got to be able to run the football, control the clock, keep the other quarterback off the field, and play stellar defense. I think a run game in January and not letting the opponent score wins you. I'm a big defense wins championship guy. And, even look at the Chiefs Super Bowls. Every time we've been able to run the ball effectively, we've been able to get it done as well. So, just one of those things and great defense. Just one of those things. I wanted to zoom out here real quick, Tim. Don't look now. And this is how crazy the NFL can be. As you know, you look at that AFC West division, the Chiefs suddenly 2-2 with the Chargers lost today to the Giants. They're sitting at 3-1. Don't look now. The Chiefs just a game back of the division already. And we're not even out of September. It was the last weekend of September. So I never was going to seed the division. Even after starting 1-2, I never was going to seed the division. And now it's still very much in play. We get the Chargers later on in the season at home. So the division is still very much now. If you're sitting at 1-3 after today, that might be a little bit of different story. But you're a game back. We're barely out of September. I think we're ready to roll. Next up, just to kind of preview here, you had alluded to it a little bit. We go to Jacksonville next week, and a tough opponent in Jacksonville. It looks like Trevor Lawrence down there and Liam Cohen, the rookie head coach, are starting to get some things together. They beat a tough 49ers today.
Yeah.
So,
and they've got some weapons. I'm not a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. Seems like he's, when you need to make that throw, you need to make that one play, that he's not done a good job of that. Okay, that's his history. Sort of like Herbert. The legacy. I mean, I saw a thing where Herbert's actually got more passing yards than any of the other quarterbacks playing right now over a certain period of time. But yet,
his first 5 seasons or whatever it was.
Yeah. But yet, he also has shown that when that one play needs to be made, he doesn't make it.
Yeah.
And I sort of see that in Trevor, too, that he just doesn't make that one play. But they got a sound defense. Okay.
Yes. Good running game to your point, with
Good
Travis
running
Etienne coming through. Etienne's been balling. Yep.
And definitely some potential at the wide receiver core. I mean, Brian Thomas and the rookie.
Travis Hunter. Yep.
Travis Hunter. I mean, that's legit right there. It's
on the road too, down in hot Jacksonville.
I hope Kansas City doesn't overlook them at Detroit.
With Detroit that next week. Yeah.
And hopefully when you have the record that Kansas City has, you don't overlook anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to win every game, buddy. You put yourself in position. Every game is important, but I think it's going to be a closer game than what you saw today, for sure.
Yes, in Jacksonville. Yep, I agree. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And then obviously, I agree with everything you just said. I think Jacksonville, they're starting to find a groove. They've got some belief there. They've got a defense that can keep them into the ball games. And to your point, they've got some more weapons. But yeah, and then you fast forward to week 6, last week without Rashee Rice. You come back home to Arrowhead on a big Sunday night football matchup against the Detroit Lions. Once again, this is the Heartland Huddle Chiefs Lions and NFL Talk. And for our subscribers, Tim, I don't know if you already know this as well, but we do have a surprise for you guys. Join us, if you're still with us, join us week 6 for a live watch party with Xavier and I. It's going to be tons of fun. Xavier and I, we're going to be trash talking all night. Yeah, we're super excited about it. We're going to be trash talking all night. You guys can engage with us. It'll be live, so you can comment. We'll respond back to you. And we'll just have a big live watch party with our community we've built here around the Heartland Huddle. So other than that, Tim, it was a great win. We're excited about it. After the Lions, you get Rice back, and I think it's time to go on a run. So any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to getting Rice back and really seeing what Patrick Mahomes can do. I think there's a sleeper in here that could turn out to be a game changer, and that's Thornton.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. Yep.
It's very obvious that Patrick is becoming very comfortable with him.
Yes.
Okay.
Had to.
And he's got some more gains before. Now you go, I'm a defense, and now not only do I have Xavier Worthy that can run down here real quick, I got Thornton who can run down here real quick, and I got Brown who can get here real quick. Okay?
Yeah.
All 3 of these can get down here real quick. What are we going to do? I think Thornton could maybe, at the end of the season, be the one that we look back and go, he was the one. He probably not going to lead the team in receptions or anything like that. But I could see us talking about he's the one that made defenses change the way they could play defense against Kansas City, which opened up the other guys to be successful.
Yes. Good
I
point.
think he's a big addition. And as it turns out, having 6 games for Mahomes to play with him and get comfortable with him. So by the time Rice comes back, he's got a level of trust with him already, you know? There was no hesitation in that touchdown pass he threw him today.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly what I was going to say too, is Tyquan Thornton. And it harkens back to your point earlier, Tim, when you're talking about not providing Mahomes with enough weapons. And I hear you on that. We don't have to rehash that. However, when you look at a Tyquan Thornton, Mahomes has been able to elevate him out of necessity, but he has. When you look at a guy in the past like a Justin Watson, he's been able to elevate him. Watson, who has been Marquez Valdez-Scantling since his second stint with the Chiefs, he's been on 4 different teams already in 2 years. So you've seen these guys. Tyquan Thornton was a cast-off of the New England Patriots, right? And he has been elevated now. And so that's the magic of Mahomes. That's the excellence that he exudes. Speaking of that, those 4 touchdown passes that Mahomes had today to 4 different wide receivers, to your point. One to, of course, one to Pacheco, our running back, one to Thornton, one to Hollywood Brown, and one to Juju. So, to your point, Mahomes is trusting his guys, which is only going to bode well for later on in the season when we see those 2 high safety looks, and it's bracket Worthy and a linebacker sit on Rice. Boom, there's Thornton. Boom, there's Hollywood. Boom, there's Juju. You still got Kelsey doing his old man thing. So, to your point, I think Tyquan Thornton is an X factor, that kind of like a Juwan Jennings for the 49ers last year. Or was it 2 years ago? We thought he was going to. Yeah, we thought he was going to beat us in the Super Bowl. Remember, he started going crazy that first half in the Super Bowl. We're like, really? We're going to let Juwan? We thought Christian McCaffrey or Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel was going to beat us. No, it was Juwan Jennings who was getting all the catches. So I think Thornton could play a similar role.
That's a good comparison right there, Eric. Yeah, that one that's just going to be out there that defenses are going to go, well, we feel like we want to go one-on-one with him.
Yeah.
But boy, that's dangerous, going one-on-one with him.
Yeah, exactly. So, absolutely. Okay. Well, Tim, once again, we want to thank you from Xavier and I and from the Heartland Huddle family. Thank you for joining us on this special episode. You're more than welcome anytime, of course. I appreciate it, Grandpa. And on top of that, if you're still with us, you are a huddler now. Hit that subscribe button. Join us every Wednesday here on our YouTube channel and Spotify as well. You can catch us with more takes and throughout the week as well. Tim, once again, we appreciate you.
Well, thank you, Eric. I really enjoyed it.
All righty.
Thank you all, Heartland Huddle. See ya.
Follow, subscribe. Thank you.